And the action continues on Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right. Welcome back. How are you doing? Into hour 2 of Talkin Money. Our quiz question is not that hard.
It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe, but the richest of the rich, out of the 20 most valuable Division I men's college basketball programs, this is number 1. And they were in the Final Four. If you want to pick one of those teams, I'll read off some of that were not on the list. Some ones you would think, like UCLA, number 17 on the list, $73 million. Syracuse was number 13. So here you go, UNLV, that surprises me, they're even on the list, was number 9 at $88 million. I mentioned earlier Duke was number 7.
Kentucky, North Carolina?
Nope.
They're not even on the top 10?
Oh, Kentucky, number 16.
What about North Carolina?
North Carolina, number 6 on the list. So you get there. Ohio State, number 4. Indiana, number 3. And I'll leave number 2 and number 1, which would be an interesting number 2 and number 1 because those two teams were recently in a fight for national championship. So 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. So basically, if you know one of the two teams that played in the NCAA finals, you probably know Notre Dame and Baylor are not on the list at all. So
Lehigh?
I don't even know really. And Sac State did not make the top 20. This is an outrage, and this map is a total.
I want an audit.
Total scam. That's right. I want the bankruptcy attorney, not the bankruptcy judge, to go through and take number 1 and make him give it to Sac State. Would you please, for the love of God? Mark Drodney is in. We've been kind of teasing things throughout the show here a little bit, and I mentioned, Mark, that if you pass away and your family wants to inherit your Facebook account, they want to keep it going. They want to. I mean, where did this article even come from? I mean, I would have never even imagined some of these things.
Well, from time to time, my editor at the Bee does ask if I've got any ideas for stories, or she has an idea and says, "Do I have any stories?" And the good news for her is that whatever topic she can come up with, since I've been doing this for 32 years, I can come up with some of the most bizarre stories that she's ever heard that are true that she can use to write a story around. And this one had to do with a long-time client of mine who was a well-known in his community, president of his Rotary Club, on the Planning and Zoning Commission of his community, but a very prominent business owner, had worked his whole life to build up a business. He and his wife had just sold the business, and they were looking at what are they going to do to retire, and he was involved in an accident with a gun and died before the check that was sitting on the kitchen counter for the sale of his business was even cashed.
Oh.
So everything they worked their whole life for was sitting there, and then that one piece of paper on the table, and he dies in a gun accident. I'd sit next to his wife at the funeral, packed, overflowing church, and as everybody's walking by, I'm sitting with his wife. Everybody's just avoiding her and avoiding eye contact. And they loved both of these guys. I got to make up their names, Bill and Mary. They loved Bill and Mary. Everybody, there were fixtures in their community, and nobody's talking to her. Everybody's walking, like avoiding eye contact and just walking into this funeral. And I'm like,
did Mary shoot Bill?
We're getting to that.
Okay.
This is getting weird.
Okay.
What is going on here? Why is everybody avoiding Mary? And after we're walking out of the church, and someone walks up to me and goes, "Did you get that email?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, "I got an email from Bill this morning that Mary killed him. On his AOL account, I got an email from Bill." And he goes, "Obviously, we had an open casket. He's sitting here dead. Somebody's on his AOL account, and they did a spray to everybody in his directory that Mary shot him and killed him." And I'm like,
"Did she?"
No, she did not.
Okay.
It's clearly the
sheriffs. I knew Mary wouldn't do that.
The sheriffs have confirmed it was a gun accident.
Okay.
And clearly she was not involved in it all. But somebody who didn't like Mary, who had his password, was sending out emails to everybody in his directory that she had killed him. So we called AOL and said, shut down the account. And they said, according to our rules, we can't close the account unless the account holder asks us to close the account. I go, he's dead.
Difficult to do.
They go, or we get a death certificate. I'm like, I can send you a funeral notice. I can send you the little card that they pass out at the funerals.
Snapshot photo.
I can send you the obituary from the paper.
And a Kincaid print.
And they said, we need a death certificate. I'm sorry that our rules require a certified death certificate from the county. And I'm like, I can tell you as an estate planning attorney, it typically takes 3 to 5 days in a normal situation to get a death certificate. But when there's a gun involved, it takes the coroner sometimes months to issue a death certificate. And so AOL would not close that account. I'm going, go online and look at what's going on. I mean, you guys see what's going on here. Here, you go online and look in the B, there's his obituary. Go online to his account and look at, he is sending emails to all these people saying that his wife killed him. So clearly there's somebody accessing his account. And they go, but our rules will not allow us to close the account. So this person kept spraying awful stuff out there. So the moral of the story is what has happening more and more is we all have an online life. We all have an email. Almost all of us have email. We probably bank online. We probably make all of our investments online. We can move our money around. We can buy and sell and trade and do everything online. Almost everything we've got is associated with a password now. You know, I can't even book a flight on Southwest without my password.
Right.
Everything in my life has a password, and I'm doing it online more and more and more. People have their photo albums. They don't have photo albums anymore. They've got their photo album is on the cloud. And we're going to see more and more of everything. And who owns that? A Facebook page. You know, if somebody dies, what happens to all that? And what we were finding out in the article is that everybody's got a different rule. Facebook has one rule on how to terminate an account if somebody dies. Gmail has a different one. AOL has a different one. Your bank has a different one. Your financial advisor has a different one. Everybody's got different rules. And so certainly when you're sitting down and planning your estate, make a list of everything you have that's online that has a password and write the password down and put it in an envelope and put that envelope somewhere safe and tell one person that you trust that if something happens to me, that's where the envelope is.
So can you, we got to take one more break here. Can you do, so you can do like an advanced healthcare directive, which basically means, hey, if my brain doesn't work, I want you to pull the plug on me, or I don't want you to pull the plug on me. So can you do an advanced healthcare or my advanced social directive?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to have those in writing somewhere safe. I certainly don't want anybody stealing all my passwords, but I do want to have one person that I can trust that can shut down those accounts very quickly if something happens. We have people who, have had their accounts raided after they die by someone who has their password.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
big problem.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah. So where I've run into it a little bit is tragically there have been some teenage kids out in my community out in Granite Bay who have passed away, committed suicide, and the parents wanted to access the Facebook account so they could, thank everybody for, or update them or give them, they wanted to use that account to go forward. And that's not,
Facebook actually does have a procedure where you advise them of the death and then they freeze the account, but also set up what's called a memorial page.
Okay.
Where people can post kind words about that person and people can grieve together and share that information.
So that's some of the online stuff. I want to talk about. We'll take a quick break and come back. I want to talk about some of these other things that are not online. These are the misconceptions that I do not have a $5 million net worth.
So I don't need to do any estate planning.
So I'm not paying $2,500 to draft up anything because I don't have enough money to pay tax on. So I am therefore clear. We'll also talk about a little reminder that if you are a fairly wealthy individual and even modestly sick on December 31st this year, maybe just check yourself into jail. So I'm on here protective custody, 24-hour hold, something, because you're about ready to get snuffed out by grandma's pillow there if you're not careful. We got another quiz question when we come back. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If you've got a question for Mark, we'll get you in there too. You can text us at 441140. We'll be right back.